Hi everyone. So let's start with this summit. So first of all, I thanks to my team for giving this wonderful opportunity to talk about how Druid had helped Indian Express Group to capture, analyze user activities all across different subdomains. And a very special thanks to Imply team for again giving this wonderful opportunity to share our knowledge with all the Druid community across the globe and everyone. So we as a Indian Express Group, uh, as of now, we are having around 8 or 9 subdomains in our group. So about Indian Express, it's an English language domain. It started in 1932, founded by Mr. Goenka. So first of all, it's published by Mumbai in Indian Express, and then we started with other regional languages and other domains. And then we started with Financial Express also in 1961, which is primarily targeting for business sector news. And as of now, we are around 500 million PVs per month, which is, I think, good enough. So after that, the challenges when we face starting. So it was, since we have subdomains around 7 or 8 different regional brands. So it is about how to capture all the data at a single place, and then how to identify where to invest times and where to invest our efforts, how it's going to help us in our revenue through ads and other things. Then second, which stories are trending from which geolocations, which user segments is particularly reading on which stories, using their loyalty, using their bucketing. Then after that, which story is trending from which platform, what are their preference, like search, social media, or other things. And later on, creating an analytics dashboard for them so that editors can see it, management can see it, and others can also see it, how stories are trending, how stories are performing on our websites as a real-time basis also, not only about historical, but real-time too. I'm Shivam Agrahari, working as a data engineer with Indian Express. So my major role is to work on the user personalizations, capturing all the activities, performing analytics around them, and then creating dashboards and all. So today I will be leading the sessions along with Tijo, who is the lead solution architect at Imply. So after the challenges which we face, let's talk about why Druid. So in Druid, we can do on an ad hoc basis real-time slice dice. So there's a default indexing on all the columns, which actually helps a lot while performing the queries, whether it is group by, whether it is normal select queries or all. And then second thing is it will help us great in real-time data visibility. So we can check all the activities on a real-time basis. Whenever an activity performs, we can see it on the Druid just after a second only. And then again comes to the historical data sets. Then also we can go with the historical data set too. We can check how in the past how we have performed for the last week, for the last month, for the last even quarter. We can see how data is performing, how activities and how other things are performing on sites. And it will have a very lower TCO as compared to other platforms. And again, with the APIs which Druid is providing us for the real time or for any kind of activities, it is very high concurrent. So it helps us a lot in other different use cases. So after this, whenever we compare our real-time PVs and user counts, so in general, we have around 60K page views per day, and on an average of 47 to 50K users on a daily basis. And during peak days like elections or any some other peak days, so it increase rapidly, goes to twice and sometimes thrice, especially on the events like Cricket World Cup or anything like that. It increases a very much high rate. So it actually helps us a lot capturing all the data. Since Druid is a very high concurrency APIs, it will give us trending stories, what are the most read stories on our sites. And later on, we are also planning to do personalized content using all these APIs and other things, which Druid is giving us on the go. And on part of the trending stories, we can actually show widgets on our sites, how stories are trending currently. The widget can be very useful, especially whenever a user is coming, and simply you can show how which stories are currently trending on sites. If someone is coming, and he can simply give us a good CTR through that. And after the trending stories, we can also go with the sorry. So across the sites, and particular sections of the sites loyalty bucket wise trending. So there are different points on the trending. So we can check, I mean, which data sets we want to perform this trending set. So suppose I want to check on which bucket or which buckets users are giving most activities or current activities, which particular section of a site is giving good activities. So suppose our user is reading on a sports domain, so I can show him how other stories in sports domains are performing, which are the trending stories as of now. Suppose a loyal user is reading on our website, so I can show him what other loyal users are reading or which is trending currently. Simply go with the social engines like social media, search engines, and all other things too. So this is about trending one. So now go with the most studied stories too. So most studied stories simply like which is giving a high number of PVs given on a particular time range, whether it is for last 24 hours, last 1 week, like that. So it again help us across all the sites and especially with all the subdomains too. So in Indian Express, we are currently having around 8 to 10 domains. So it actually helps in all the domains, subdomains, all the regional languages sites too. And again, it helps us in the section wise, it helps in the bucketing way, it helps on a search engine basis, on a social media basis. So all of they, it is helping a lot. uh, then about the architecture which we have before Druid, it was about collecting all the data from different sources, from mobile apps, from AMP pages, from websites, from web, collecting them all the data through uh, SDKs, and then through Kafka, we are transferring all this data to our storage, which is SDFS, earlier one. And then from SDFS, we are using a Spark engine queries to perform all the, to actually enrich the data first, and then second, it is about to filtering all the filtering the data, which is not very much useful, and then sending all this data to a S3 bucketing or anywhere cloud, and then from there we performing or creating extract, which is going to help us in dashboarding and other things on Tableau platform. So it whole requires a lot of maintenance cost plus a lot of things here to check. So suppose data is coming properly to Kafka, then from Kafka it is actually capturing well onto the SDFS, then checking all the Spark jobs and every other things, and then copying and creating extract and Tableau. So in all, you can also see that it is a time-consuming process earlier. First thing, and then maintenance is again higher. And second most thing is we actually require people on individual different platform expertise too. So from here, I will hand over to Chijo to explain how Druid is helping us a lot with the new architecture and other things, which is very great for us. Hi, Chijo.
Thank you, Shivam. Let's see the new architecture. So there is no change in the incoming data. The data comes from the mobile application, and it goes through a API layer, which receives the data and ultimately ingests into Kafka. The next step is earlier the data used to go to HDFS and from there to Spark and enrich it and again put it back into S3. So right now the architecture is such a way that the data is directly read from the Kafka, enriched it, and ingested into Druid. So this is ingested on a real-time basis. Now, advantage of the new architecture is capable of querying real-time data combined with the historical data. So any existing use case which were already using the historical data now can connect to Druid, and there is no change in the logic and the query. Only difference is earlier it used to query historical data, 1 day old data. Now it has the capability to query the current interval of data. That's one major change without making much modification on any other app. It's real-time enabled. It's a simplified architecture with no dependency on any platform. So we removed the dependency on HDFS, basically Hadoop and Spark, and no scheduling jobs, no pager, no job failure and pagers. streaming ingestion in a way provides a better resource management. Earlier, when the job, before the job used to run, we need to make this resources available. Now the resource is distributed across the complete throughout the day, right? So there is no difference. There is no resource scheduling challenges in case of a real-time data, real-time ingestion. Now, in addition to all the above benefit, Imply comes with a simplified BI tool for Druid. Using this, we could create cubes or for slice and dice the data. Once the analysis is done, the report can be easily converted to a refreshing dashboard in a click of a button. It's also support alerting based on the configuration, based on some configured events or a sequence of events. In addition to this all BI capability, Pivot is highly optimized for Druid capability. For example, Druid is an excellent tool or a database for handling high concurrency queries. And Pivot make use of this capability by splitting the queries into multiple smaller queries, which provide a better UI experience when compared to one single large query hitting the database and extract all the information, all the data at the same time, and refreshing or painting into the UI takes some time. So in this way, Pivot is an excellent tool, and it also requires less learning learning curve to master it. Pivot also provide a lot of excellent visualization to visualize your data. And it also have the capability to schedule the report. So every day, beginning of the day, there's some of the reports scheduled reports can be run and send it to the communication channels like mail and Slack and stuff like that. So is another capability in this. From the query performance perspective, so in this case, we have, if you see, this is a view from Clarity. Clarity is a APM tool which is part of Imply distribution, and it provides the capability to identify or slice and dice the Druid metrics and identify where issues are there. So it's a very excellent APM tool for Druid. In this case, we have seen from the Clarity itself, we are seeing it's on an average, the query latency is less than 150. Basically, 150 queries per minute are hitting in the Druid. And average query latency, it's close to around 150 millisecond. There are some outliers, so I'm just excluding the outliers. Whereas if you look at the 98 percentile query latency, it's close to around 400 milliseconds. And now look at the hardware which are used. One of the key benefit of Druid is the cost of query is comparatively very less when compared to any other platform in the big data space. So here we are using 3 master node because for the purpose of high availability, we need more than 1 master. Why 3? Because we are running our zookeeper. So we have a dependency. Druid has a dependency of zookeeper, and the zookeeper is running in the same node as where the master is running. Master means the coordinator and overload services are running in the master node. We have 2 query nodes. The reason for 2 is basically for HA purpose. In the query nodes, we have broker and router running. We have used M5DX large. That means 4 core nodes. We have 2 of them, so total 8 cores. And 4 data node. Data node is where all historical as well as the middle managers are running. Historical is to query the historical data, and middle manager is for handling the real-time data, basically ingestion as well as real-time queries. So it runs in the data nodes, and we have used i3x large, which is a 4-core node. We have 4 of them, and we have kept the replica, 2 replica for the HA purposes. So total, we used 4 nodes in that way, and 4 into 4, almost it's a 16-core in total, the number of cores used. The data volume approximately 400 GB. Retention is close to 60 days. Okay, this is the hardware specification. Now, in summary, we have seen how Druid is being used to power app, basically the application, the publishing application, the application, the web page, which the end users use to read the news, right? That listing of what type of stories to be is trending and what is the top stories. Those are listed based on various aspect, region, interest, and other stuff, as powered by Druid. And you see that the architecture is so much simplified now, less maintenance now. New generation real-time analytical capabilities are by default provided by just moving the workload into Druid. And we have seen the BI tool for Druid, an excellent tool for slice and dice of the data. And it comes also with a application and monitoring tool for Druid, which is called Clarity. We have seen a screenshot of it. That provides a excellent experience to the Indian Express. Thank you all.